miss. Clark from the logo!
The present circumstances between Caitlin Clark and the WNBA expose a major turning point in women's basketball, not just a sporting story. Historically, the WNBA has battled to earn the same degree of respect and attention as other big leagues. However, the ascent of youthful basketball prodigy Caitlin Clark points to a possible change that may define the league's future.
Clark and the Fever have been the hottest draw in the league. Indiana's games have averaged nearly 16,000 fans, more than double the attendance for games not involving the Fever.
Clark's arrival in the WNBA reminds one of transforming leaders in other sports. Her marketability and skill help her to be the sort of player able to influence public opinion. For a league often eclipsed and underappreciated, this change is essential. Clark has the potential to become a comparable symbol for the WNBA, much as Michael Jordan's arrival into the NBA signaled a fresh period of popularity and financial success.
I think we were just resilient. You know, when they punch us in the mouth, we always found a way to answer. I think people stepped up when their number was called and they were put into the game.
On and off the court, Clark's path is difficult, however. She has already seen major hardships in her short professional career.
Now, I believe to Angel Reese. Yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
Including harsh fouls from opponents and aggressive moves. These conflicts point to a degree of jealousy and resentment above what is expected of a normal competitive drive. Kennedy Carter and other players have freely shown contempt for Clark, underscoring the personal aspect of these contests.
And, you know, it's just basketball at the end of the day. You know, there's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive. It's not going to be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is. And I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Notwithstanding these challenges, Clark's approach has been admirable. She lets her performance speak for itself rather than starting verbal arguments or grievances.
What about Clark? Another step-back triple, already at double digits in.
Her professionalism and resilience are shown by her capacity to keep concentration and perform well under duress. This mindset not only improves her standing, but also establishes a benchmark for athletes' management of hardship.
Anyone surprised? That's what they come to see. I mean, Jazz Shelley.
Unquestionably, Clark has affected the court. Even in her freshman season, her numbers and accomplishments have distinguished her from many of her contemporaries.
Clark gets freed up. Confidence.
From scoring to assists, she shines in many facets of the game and has a well-rounded skill set that makes her a powerful player.
She's had more 30-plus point games than anybody in the last 25 years in men's and women's basketball.
This all-around skill emphasizes why she is seen as a WNBA game changer.
I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game. And like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible. Awesome, Caitlin. Congratulations. Thanks.
The criticism and jealousy aimed toward Clark are not recent occurrences. She has been under investigation and attacked since her time in college.
Yeah, I mean, this is a foul for sure on the dribble.
Athletes who push the envelope and challenge the status quo usually exhibit this pattern of polarization. For Clark, this is exacerbated by the extra pressure and expectations put on women in athletics, where their accomplishments are often discounted or questioned.
Pretty fiery, pretty competitive, but I would say like pretty smooth. I just try to.
Additionally, reflecting the larger dynamics in women's basketball is the hatred from certain quarters. Rising stars may eclipse established players and veterans, which would lead to remarks undermining her achievements. This conflict between the old guard and the young underlines the difficulties of generational changes in sports, where the rise of a new star can be both exhilarating and worrisome.
Rebound, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and Dana Evans.
Clark's impact beyond the courtroom. Her presence has shown her influence on the league's commercial attractiveness by driving a spike in WNBA ticket sales and viewing. The WNBA, which has long aimed to increase its fan base and improve its marketability, depends critically on this surge.
She does it time and time again, the 40-piece, and walks off with the W.
The league's expansion would benefit much from Clark's capacity to attract audiences and create buzz.
If Clark knocks this down, she has officially surpassed Brittany Griner.
The milestone milestones Clark has established so far in her career, including ranking as the all-time top scorer in NCAA history, indicate her extraordinary ability. These successes highlight her ability to reach excellence at the professional level, as well as her leadership skills in steering her squad to national recognition.
We love to see a good clapback, right? And no one does that better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, just a couple of days ago in her game against Louisville, she basically told Haley Van Lith, "You're down 15 points. Shut up."
Her ability to turn this accomplishment into WNBA titles will, however, ultimately be the real test of her legacy. To be among the best, Clark must win at the top level.
Last game when she was like, "You can't see me." That really got everyone fired up.
Comparisons from the past with icons like Michael Jordan show that, however outstanding, collegiate achievement is merely a stop on the road. The mark of an athlete's career and legacy is finally sustained greatness and championship successes.
And Bill Walton, Zeke, Michael Jordan has said it many times. He considers Madison Square Garden to be the mecca of basketball.
Clark remains a divisive person who generates both praise and condemnation as she pursues her career. For those athletes who challenge the limits of their sport, this dichotomy is a familiar sensation. Her great importance in the changing story of women's basketball is reflected in the great attention she pays to every action, both good and bad.
In the flagrant, did you feel like that?
The basketball play.
Yeah, do you feel like that was the appropriate call, or?
It's a basketball play. I can't control the refs. They affected the game obviously a lot tonight. So
Clark clearly can change the WNBA, not just in terms of her performance, but also in the general influence she has on the league. She helps the sport reach fresh heights by garnering attention and enticing new players. Her impact is evident in more media attention for the WNBA and more business possibilities.
And this is Caitlin Clark introducing herself. She has been a leader for US team.
Hungary 22, Caitlin Clark.
One must recognize the historical background of Clark's arrival. From its founding, the WNBA has fought for respect and credibility in a sports scene controlled by men's leagues. The acquisition of a great talent like Clark may be the impetus the league needs to enter a new phase of acceptance and prosperity. One does not make light analogies to Michael Jordan. Jordan transformed the worldwide appeal of basketball in addition to his on-court successes, therefore influencing the game.
Being sick. Yeah, I think he's okay. He's got the bounce, he's got the skill, he's ready to put on the show here today.
With her special mix of talent and charm, Clark can offer women's basketball a like-minded change.
Without them being able to contest.
And Stolke keep posting up, but you know who they go to. 22 from the outside.
Still, the path to such a transforming accomplishment is complex. Expectations weigh heavily, and close inspection defines Clark's path. The rivalry and conflicts Clark encounters on the court fit a larger story of athletics ambition and competitiveness. Many times, these dynamics inspire athletes to new heights and support excellent performance. For Clark, these difficulties provide chances rather than just hurdles to show her strength and will.
She's got 36. She lives for those moments, Gus. She wants to take the big shot, and she will make the big shot.
The encouragement Clark gets from her supporters is evidence of her rising impact. Driven mostly by Clark's presence, there is a growing interest in WNBA games in attendance and viewing. The survival and expansion of the league depend on this fan involvement.
Happy I got to see her today. Yeah. It was like a dream come true.
Clark's collegiate basketball success sets a great standard for her professional career. Her leadership at Iowa and record-breaking efforts have shown her capacity to rule at the toughest levels of competition.
I think the main things about Iowa that I liked is, one, doing something special that's never been done before. I think that was super important to me. And two, I'm really close with my family, so I wanted to be close. I wanted to have.
Her road will next take her translating her achievement to the WNBA. The criticism and questioning Clark encounters reflect her reputation as a pioneer. Athletes who question accepted wisdom and push limits sometimes run against opposition. A major component of Clark's developing reputation is her elegance and tenacity in managing this strain.
But I mean, I don't know. She's so humble, isn't she?
Well, I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, it's great.
That's
I don't know.
Pretty cool, Caitlin.
Career will most certainly help to define the WNBA. Her achievements and the awareness she raises for the league will help the next generations of athletes get access. Clark is redefining women's basketball's possibilities by shattering stereotypes and establishing new benchmarks.
Shout out to the fans, though. They were unreal. They got us there to the fourth. Happy for our group. That's a big one. Gotta be second.
one cannot overestimate the business success connected to Clark's league membership. A stronger and more financially stable WNBA results from increased ticket sales, better viewing ratings, and more media coverage. In this sense, Clark's marketability is very vital.
It was pretty surreal because we were watching TV, I think the game before, and she got really close to it. I think she was like a couple of rebounds away, and I didn't think that I would actually be at the first one. But here we are.
Furthermore, Clark's influence is felt in the larger cultural setting. She breaks preconceptions and encourages young girls to follow their sporting aspirations as very prominent and accomplished female athletes. Her impact shapes ideas and goals even outside of the basketball floor.
I'm 22 years old. I got a lot of pressure on myself to perform and help this organization and help women's basketball and women's sports, so I think she's been a great outlet for myself.
The rivalry Clark encounters is evidence of her competitive nature and the respect her peers demand of her. These fierce games provide the league drama and thrills, attracting viewers and crafting gripping narratives.
I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you, so seriously I mean that, and I thank you. And
one of Clark's strongest suits is her fortitude in the face of difficulty. Her performance mostly depends on her capacity to recover from demanding moves and stay focused on the game. She will find great benefit from this mental fortitude as she negotiates the demands of professional athletics. Clark's presence greatly supports the WNBA's pursuit of more respect and exposure. Her capacity to attract attention and create buzz about the league is really priceless. The league's expansion and acceptance depend on this higher awareness.
So I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it, you're helping us change it, so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much.
Clark's path reflects the larger hardships and victories of female athletes. Her narrative emphasizes the difficulties women have in the sports scene trying to be recognized and respected. Overcoming these challenges, Clark motivates and sets an example for others.
Off of your defense, get out and run. There's so much opportunity in transition. Caitlin Clark needs no space. Cashes in. Come on, 22.
How the media presents Clark as a two-edged blade. More publicity exposes her more, but it also makes her a more visible target of attention. Negotiating this terrain calls for a careful mix of resilience and openness. A key component of Clark's success is her capacity to motivate her colleagues and set an example. Her team's performance and winning culture are much enhanced by her leadership both on and off the court. The difficulties Clark's rivals provide are evidence of her ability and fierce competitiveness. These rivalries inspire her to keep developing and modifying her game, therefore reaching new performance standards.
I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport.
A key determinant of Clark's career path is her capacity to manage the demands of success and celebrity. Maintaining her attention and desire depends on her being grounded in controlling expectations. Her path depends much on the encouragement Clark gets from her family, friends, and supporters. Her ongoing success is built on this network of support, which also helps her negotiate professional ups and downs.
Controversial foul in the WNBA game between Indiana and Chicago continues. You've seen it now a million times. Third quarter, Kennedy Carter shoulder checking Caitlin Clark.
From her on-court performance to her marketability to her motivation, Clark has had a diverse influence on the WNBA. Her path captures the larger chances and difficulties women's basketball faces. Ultimately, amid a background of difficulties and opposition, Caitlin Clark's narrative is one of hope and possibility. Her path highlights the importance of ongoing support and respect for female players as it mirrors the larger challenges and successes of women's basketball. Clark represents the transforming potential of skill and will in shining the sports scene as she negotiates the demands and expectations of her developing career. For women's sports generally, as well as the WNBA, Clark's ascent offers optimism. A key first step in the continuous struggle for equality and acceptance in the sports world is her capacity to raise awareness and respect for the league.
It's just amazing. I mean, how she finds people in transition, she's just unbelievable.
Clark opens the path for the next generations of female athletes as she keeps shattering records and raising expectations. Her accomplishment reminds us of the need for tenacity, loyalty, and fortitude in reaching excellence. The story of Clark's ascent is complex and covers her extraordinary abilities, hardships, and influence on WNBA popularity. This intricate interaction of elements makes her narrative interesting and important, not just for women's basketball enthusiasts, but also for the sports scene overall. With Clark Clark's rise as a possible superstar, the WNBA marks a new chapter marked by more respect, exposure, and admiration of the league and its players. Her path is evidence of her ability, skill, and will to overcome challenges and reach brilliance. Women's basketball has benefited greatly and broadly from Caitlin Clark. Her path reminds us of the possibility sports have to inspire, challenge, and change. On and off the court, resilience, quality, and inspiration for the next generations will define Clark's legacy as she keeps leaving her imprint.
Play at the Stanford University 2022. And this is Caitlin Clark introducing herself. She has been a leader for US team.
Caitlin Clark's name has a strong resonance in the basketball community. Clark, a prodigy whose abilities have wowed fans and commentators alike, was left off Team USA's Olympic selection, sparking significant outrage. This piece dives at Clark's rise, her Olympic snub, the resulting controversy, and Team USA's eventual admission of regret.
Caitlin Clark, even though we have a day to celebrate with so many amazing ladies making the roster, what have you made of the conversation about Caitlin being left off?
You know, it speaks really highly to the player that Caitlin is, to the superstar.
Caitlin Clark's basketball experience has been nothing short of spectacular. She distinguished herself from her contemporaries with a rare combination of talent, toughness, and basketball IQ beginning in high school. Her transition to collegiate basketball went well, and she quickly became a standout at the University of Iowa. Clark's ability to score, facilitate, and dominate the game helped her become one of the most talked about athletes in the NCAA.
She's become the new face of women's basketball. Clark breaking records tonight, becoming the all-time leading scorer in Big Ten history, inspiring a new generation of aspiring women's basketball players from Hinsdale Central.
Clark's early years were a forerunner to her later success. She grew up in West Des Moines, Iowa, with a loving family who saw her promise from an early age. Her father, Brent Clark, and older brother Blake played an important role in developing her interest in the game. By the time she reached high school, she had caught the attention of college scouts.
Caitlin Clark has become a national phenom, and some fans say they went the extra mile just to watch her play here. ABC 7's Kate Kogirin spoke with excited ticket holders at Welsh Ryan Arena.
The fan fever was high.
Clark was clearly the dominant student at Dowling Catholic High School. She guided her team to several state titles, breaking various records in the process. Her high school career was distinguished for her scoring abilities, court vision, and leadership skills. These characteristics garnered her a 5-star recruit ranking and offers from elite basketball teams nationwide.
Knock into 3-ball as well. Kenna Warnock, I've said this time and time again, I think she's one of the more underrated players in the Big Ten, and there's Clark's first bucket. Saw it with 34 points.
Clark decided to stay close to home and enrolled at the University of Iowa. Her decision was inspired by the possibility of playing for coach Lisa Bluter, who has a track record of creating outstanding athletes. Clark made an immediate impression during her first year. She led the nation in scoring and was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Her performances were more than simply sheer stats. They included game-winning shots, clutch efforts, and a maturity beyond her years.
2-on-1 break here for Iowa. Caitlin Clark to Marshall for 2.
The blink of an eye, Caitlin Clark brings Iowa within 1. Look at this. Carissa McLaughlin blocked by Clark, out of bounds. Purdue ball.
With the Olympics coming, many assumed Clark would be a certainty for Team USA. Her performances were constantly outstanding, and her ability to flourish on the international stage appeared unquestionable. However, when the roster was revealed, Clark's name was glaringly absent.
With such an ease, it's almost like she's a musician when she's playing with poetry like that. More Parks takes the contact, you can count it. See more of Caitlin Clark taking it to the bucket. She didn't like the fact that she was whistled for that charge.
This choice confused many fans and pundits, sparking a surge of conjecture and debate. For any athlete, representing their country in the Olympics is a pinnacle achievement. Caitlin Clark's dream appeared within reach, given her quick rise in the basketball world. The journey to the Olympics entails intense training, national team camps, and sustained top-level performance. Clark's journey featured great college performances in early WNBA games.
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. You know, that's a dream. You know, hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that. And
as Clark's star grew, so did expectations. Fans and commentators both regarded her as the future of women's basketball. Her ability to score from wherever on the floor, combined with her playmaking abilities, made her a standout player. The possibility of witnessing her compete against the world's best at the Olympics sparked excitement and anticipation.
Clark certainly sounds genuine there. Maybe there's a hint of diplomacy as well. Here, Indiana coach says Clark told her, quote, "They awakened a monster." Our contributor Christine Brennan has been tracking this story for weeks. She wrote in her,
Clark's achievements speak much about her talents. She led the NCAA in scoring, displayed an incredible ability to make clutch plays, and matured beyond her years on the floor. Her ability to shoot and pass made her a nightmare for opposing defenses. Despite her great stats and highlight reel moments, Team USA chose to keep her off the squad, a decision that would later be highly criticized.
Curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So, yeah. I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you, so seriously.
Record-breaking performances characterized Clark's undergraduate career. She became the first player in NCAA history to have consecutive triple-doubles of at least 30 points. Her scoring numbers were consistently among the nation's best, and she led her team in assists and steals. These statistics were more than just numbers. They demonstrated her all-around game and ability to influence all aspects of the game. One of Clark's distinguishing characteristics is her capacity to perform in critical situations. Whether it was hitting game-winning baskets or making crucial plays in high-pressure circumstances, she continually delivered when it counted the most. Her leadership on and off the court was clear, as she frequently assumed the position of a vocal leader, mentoring her colleagues and setting an example with her work ethic and drive. Clark's absence from the Olympic team remains a source of dispute. Some argued that her rookie position in the WNBA played a role, while others attributed it to her absence from training camp. ESPN commentators and basketball fans debated the issue extensively, with many expressing shock and dismay. The selection process for Team USA is rigorous, with input from coaches, former players, and basketball experts. It entails assessing players' performance, fit within the team chemistry, and capacity to adjust to international competition. The decision to omit Clark, despite her evident aptitude, prompted concerns about the criteria utilized and whether other factors influenced the decision. Team USA officials issued remarks attempting to justify their actions. They mentioned considerations such as the need for more experienced players and the need for teamwork. However, these answers did little to soothe the outrage of fans and pundits who felt Clark's talent and potential justified her admission. ESPN's coverage of Clark's Olympic snub featured comments from a variety of pundits. Some backed the decision, given her lack of experience, while others fiercely opposed it, citing historical examples of rookies making the Olympic team. Analysts such as Paul Pierce and Skip Bayless pointed out that other famous players such as Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker made the Olympic squad as rookies, prompting questions about why Clark was treated differently. The ESPN debate offered a variety of opinions. Some commentators claimed that Clark's absence represented a missed chance for Team USA to capitalize on her growing popularity and marketability. Others emphasized the potential benefits of having a young star like Clark on the squad, both for her growth and for the club's success. The debates frequently grew heated, reflecting the emotion and intensity surrounding this topic. The similarities to other rookies who made the Olympic team were especially noticeable. Analysts pointed out that players like Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi, and Candace Parker were included despite being in positions similar to Clark's. These examples underlined the irregularity in the selection process, fueling conjecture about further reasons for Clark's rejection. Clark's omission from the Olympic team sparked a firestorm of anger. Speculations about political motivations, team chemistry, and even potential jealousy from other players were widespread. The idea that Clark's popularity and burgeoning celebrity status may have offended some people was a recurring subject in conversations. Some speculated that her absence was intended to prevent any problems in team harmony or hierarchy. One of the most hotly debated ideas was that Clark's exclusion was politically motivated. Some argued that her growing prominence and popularity threatened the established structure within Team USA. There were speculations that her aggressive style and on-court approach may have clashed with other key players or coaches, prompting the decision to keep her off the roster. The selection process for Team USA is rigorous, with input from coaches, former players, and basketball experts. It entails assessing players' performance, fit within the team chemistry, and capacity to adjust to international competition. The decision to omit Clark, despite her evident aptitude, prompted concerns about the criteria utilized and whether other factors influenced the decision. Team USA officials issued remarks attempting to justify their actions. They mentioned considerations such as the need for more experienced players and the need for teamwork. However, these answers did little to soothe the outrage of fans and pundits who felt Clark's talent and potential justified her admission. ESPN's coverage of Clark's Olympic snub featured comments from a variety of pundits. Some backed the decision, given her lack of experience, while others fiercely opposed it, citing historical examples of rookies making the Olympic team. Analysts such as Paul Pierce and Skip Bayless pointed out that other famous players such as Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker made the Olympic squad as rookies, prompting questions about why Clark was treated differently. The ESPN debate offered a variety of opinions. Some commentators claimed that Clark's absence represented a missed chance for Team USA to capitalize on her growing popularity and marketability. Others emphasized the potential benefits of having a young star like Clark on the squad, both for her growth and for the club's success. The debates frequently grew heated, reflecting the emotion and intensity surrounding this topic. The similarities to other rookies who made the Olympic team were especially noticeable. Analysts pointed out that players like Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi, and Candace Parker were included, despite being in positions similar to Clark's. These examples underline the irregularity in the selection process, fueling conjecture about further reasons for Clark's rejection. Clark's omission from the Olympic team sparked a firestorm of anger. Speculations about political motivations, team chemistry, and even potential jealousy from other players were widespread. The idea that Clark's popularity and burgeoning celebrity status may have offended some people was a recurring subject in conversations. Some speculated that her absence was intended to prevent any problems in team harmony or hierarchy. One of the most hotly debated ideas was that Clark's exclusion was politically motivated. It relies heavily on team chemistry. The addition of a high-profile rookie like Clark has the potential to upset the team's existing roles and relationships. Some suggested that there was anxiety about how veteran players would react to her presence and how it would affect team unity. This hypothesis proposed that the decision was taken to maintain harmony rather than based only on performance. Another theory focused on jealousy and rivalry. Clark's fast ascension and the media attention she received may have fueled anger among other players. The possibility that her success and popularity will overshadow other team members was discussed. This hypothesis argued that her exclusion was a means to manage egos and avoid internal problems. In a stunning change of events, members of Team USA's selection committee and coaching staff later expressed regret for not including Clark. Coach Dawn Staley agreed that this admission, although satisfying Clark's admirers, also highlighted a squandered chance to display one of the most brilliant players on the world scene. The admission of sorrow occurred through public comments and interviews. Coach Staley and other committee members praised Clark's performance and admitted that she would have been a good candidate for the team had the choice been made later. These words were interpreted as vindication for Clark and her admirers, who had contended that her aptitude and promise were unquestionable. The public admission of regret had a huge impact on Clark's career. It cemented her reputation as one of basketball's brightest young stars and demonstrated the respect she garnered from top coaches and officials. Clark utilized the accolades from Team USA as motivation to keep developing and proving her naysayers wrong. Caitlin Clark's Olympic snub is a complex story of talent, controversy, and ultimately remorse. It denied fans the opportunity to watch her talent on the biggest stage.